But what happens while he was running out of the room? He saw his cell phone, which was ringing. There he saw it was his wife calling. His daughter, Vinita. She was a very good girl. She drew, she painted very well, and she had won many prizes. While describing the consequences of tsunami, this essay illustrates the supremacy of nature and uncertainty of human life. Hello students, I am Anil, Assistant Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In this session, we are going to look at an essay written by Amitav Ghosh titled A Town by the Sea for the students of BBA first semester. Before we get into the essay, let us know about Amitav Ghosh. Amitav Ghosh is an acclaimed novelist, he is a journalist, he is an anthropologist and a professor. He is one of the prominent Indian writers in English. In his essay, The Town by the Sea, Ghosh recalls the tsunami that devastated India in December 26th. By disclosing how one of his friends lost his family during tsunami, the writer talks about the inability of human beings against the power of nature. This is what he writes. Ghosh's friend is the director of Malaria Research Center in Car Nicobar, Andaman. So before we get into this, you should know what tsunami is and how it is caused. Tsunami happens when there is an earthquake on the floor of the ocean. When there is an earthquake, there is sudden change in pressure over the sea, and it causes the waves to reach much height and it becomes very destructive in nature. Those waves, when they reach the shore, it washes away everything that is nearby, and the height of the waves can reach up to 50-60 meters. So here, Ghosh's friend, he is the director of Malaria Research Center in Car Nicobar, Andaman. On the eve of December 25th, the director goes to Andaman for an official visit. So from there, Car Nicobar, he goes to the capital, Port Blair. He was situated in Malacca city of Car Nicobar Islands. On an official work, he goes to the capital of the Andaman Islands, that is Port Blair. So when he was there, something happens. In the next day, he wakes up from the bed by earthquake, so he runs out of the house to save his life. The very next day, so he was woken up by a tremendous jolt, shaking of the bed. There was an earthquake. So he runs out. At the time, his wife calls him over mobile, but he disconnects the call thinking that he can call her later. But what happens while he was running out of the room? He saw his cell phone, which was ringing. There he saw it was his wife calling. But he thought, okay, I would call her later. Let me save my life. He thinks like that and he goes out. Andaman was affected severely by tsunami. He is anxious about his family members after the incident. Now, after this incident, he was really worried about his family. Now he goes, takes the cell phone and tries to call. Later he comes to know that his 13-year-old son saved his life. So later he gets into the room, he takes the mobile, he calls his wife in Malacca, but the connection did not happen. And he was really tensed. Then he goes to the capital. He had the satellite phone connection as he was the director of Malaria Research Center in Andaman. He gets to know that his wife and daughter were not to be seen. But he gets somehow information about his son. Later he comes to know that his 13-year-old son saved his life by clinging to the rafters of a church. So his wife, his daughter is no more. He did not have any information about them, but he got to know that his son survived. But how did his son survive? His son survived by clinging to the rafters of a church. When the director contacts his son over phone, he informs his father that his mother and sister disappeared in tsunami. So this is a very tragic incident that happened to Amitav Ghosh's friend, who was the director of Malaria Research Center in Malacca town of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So he gets to know about his wife and daughter through his son. He was really in pain. He was really worried. He was hurt. He was horrified by tsunami, and he tells his father that his mother and sister, they disappeared in tsunami. The director tells the writer that his son is a brave boy. later, when he tells the incident to Amitav Ghosh, he tells that his son was very brave. But he cried while saying that because he had treated his son very strictly from the childhood, but he thinks his son is really brave for saving his life. When the director visits Malacca after a few days, they find only the concrete foundation of his house. The tsunami was so destructive that only some of the structures in Malacca remained unharmed or little harmed. He goes to his house, he finds only the concrete floor. They had constructed wooden house which had been washed away by tsunami. There were only 5 structures standing in Malacca. Skeleton of a church, a whitewashed building, a Murugan temple, the arch of Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Park, and a school. Only these 5 structures were little harmed. Though the town was affected in the seashore, the interior of the island was not affected. The seashore, the town, the people, the life and property on the seashore were affected heavily because the altitude of the landscape is very low. The director recalls that his wife was an English teacher in the island and she wanted to leave the island long back. So after this incident, he lost his wife, but no use. He recalls something that his wife always used to say. His wife was an English teacher and she wanted to leave the island. She did not feel somewhat safe on the island. Therefore, she wanted to leave. She told it many a times. She did not want to live in Malacca. Since his friend did not get transfer, they had to live in the same place. He feels that as a husband, he did not provide a better opportunity to his wife. So now, this man, author's friend, he is feeling somewhat guilty for not getting the transfer and not giving enough opportunity for his wife. The director discloses that his daughter was a good painter and got prizes for her works. Now he recalls everything about his wife and daughter. His daughter, Vinita, she was a very good girl. She drew, she painted very well, and she had won many prizes. The director thinks that he is defeated as a husband and father by nature. Since he did not provide good protection to his wife and child or wife and children, he thinks that he has failed as a father and a husband. The nature has stolen his family all of a sudden without giving a chance. The nature has destroyed everything. While describing the consequences of tsunami, this essay illustrates the supremacy of nature and uncertainty of human life. So a town by the sea, what does it really talk about? It talks about this. While describing the consequences, this essay illustrates the supremacy of nature and uncertainty of human life. In addition, it is proved that man is nothing against God and nature. Acceptance of truth is more important to lead a peaceful life. So this sentence explains something. When director takes Amitav Ghosh to look at what has happened to his place, he finds his belongings washed away for over 1 kilometer from his house. There he found a bag, there he found his table, some slides. He picks up the slides. He was a researcher. He had been researching for 13 long years. But he looking at that, he says, 13 years long research has already gone into a waste. But there he collects some of the slides which he got. He was researching on malaria. And he picks that up. But on finding the belongings of his wife and children, wife and child, he did not pick any of those things up. When Amitav Ghosh asked him why he did not pick those things, he said, what good would those be doing for him? Therefore, he rejects all those things. That signifies that acceptance of truth is more important to lead a peaceful life. So he has accepted the situation that his wife and daughter is no more. Tsunami has taken those 2 people from his life. And he did not want to cling to what has happened. He had to accept the truth and move forward in life. So that is what this entire essay is about. The entire essay is about these 2 main things. Supremacy of nature and uncertainty of human life. Acceptance of truth, more important to lead a peaceful life. So here, this essay talks about the uncertainty of human life and the power of nature. While exploring those destroyed cities, Amitav Ghosh thinks that many of the natural things have not been touched, but only human habitation was destroyed by tsunami, and he thinks that nature was very much selective to destroy the human settlements, and it left nature unharmed. So the nature has protected itself, but it had destroyed human life. With the story of this director who was working at the Malaria Research Center in Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the town of Malacca, he tells us these things. So human life is uncertain, nature is all-powerful, but we have to accept the truth and we have to be peace at the situation. Therefore, he says, acceptance of truth is what is more important in life. With this, we come to an understanding that a town by the sea has been hit by the tsunami in the year 2004, and a life and the story of the director's family ended in a tragedy, giving us a message that nature is all powerful than human beings. We shall meet in the next class. Thank you.